Our top story on this Tuesday night, a jury is set in the highly anticipated murder trial of Maxwell Anderson. He's the man accused of killing 19-year-old Sade Robinson and scattering her body parts around Milwaukee County.
Now, this case got started on April 2nd of last year. That's when a severed leg was found at Warnemont Park in Cudahy. 2 days later, this video was taken near 38th and Lakefield, showing Anderson in handcuffs after being arrested. About a week after that, he was formally charged with Sade's murder, and that brings us to today. Jury selection wrapping up this afternoon with a pool of 12 women and 3 men set to decide Anderson's fate. Our Adam Reif was there, and tonight he is breaking down what comes next.
After hours in the courtroom, a jury has been seated in the Maxwell Anderson trial. 12 women and 3 men will now listen to testimony over the next couple of weeks. They will see 12 jurors and 3 alternates among that group. It came at the culmination of a very busy day for these potential jurors. They began with a questionnaire in the morning, then answered questions from the judge. She then read every name from both witness lists, more than 250 potential witnesses, to see if there were any conflicts of interest. Then each person introduced themselves to the judge and attorneys, gave background information about their family status, their job, and where they live. And towards the end, the attorneys asked them questions, and it gave some insight into the kind of evidence that will be shown at the trial.
You are going to see images of dismembered human body parts. Understanding this is difficult to look at. This would be difficult for anybody to look at. Does anybody feel that it would be so bothersome to you that you wouldn't be able to even focus?
We cannot play any audio or show any video from jury selection, but several people talked about the difficulties they anticipate in seeing some of that evidence. Many people talked about having anxiety about the graphic nature of some of the images. On the other side, attorneys for the defense wanted to find out if people worked in the medical field and might not be bothered by graphic images. Several people were nurses in the pool of potential jurors. One worked in cardiovascular surgery and has seen open heart surgery. Before the jury was selected, the judge told them they are bound by secrecy. They cannot talk about the trial during the trial with anyone. They cannot check any news sources. They are not supposed to be impacted by anything outside the courtroom. She said that might be a challenge for some.
No more TV, no more reading the news, no more going on Facebook. Can you do that? Because that's going to be the order. Because your verdict is to be based solely on what's presented in this courtroom, not on anything happening outside of it.
The trial resumes at 8:45 in the morning. There will be a few more brief jury instructions, then they'll move on to opening statements. All of it will be streamed online at CBS58.com. Here in Milwaukee, Adam Reif, CBS 58 News.
We're now joined by attorney Justin Padway to explain a bit about what happened in court today.
Justin, thanks so much for being here. First off, I guess kind of the first maybe obvious question is, a trial like this that is so well known around these areas, how do you find a jury that is impartial and doesn't know about Maxwell Anderson and Sade Robinson?
Yeah, I think it's an incredibly difficult task. You know, this is a case that's been covered by local news and the national media for about a year now. And ultimately, I don't think anyone expects nobody to have heard about this case and potentially some of the details of this case, but ultimately that's not what keeps you on or off a jury in voir dire process. At the end of the day, voir dire is to make sure you can have a fair and impartial jury. And can these people set aside what they know or what they may have heard and simply listen to the evidence in court, apply to the law to that evidence in court, and make a determination based on what is presented in court and not what's outside.
Well, and as you said, the jurors are being expected to set aside what they've heard, but there has been extensive coverage of the case. In any way, does that benefit the prosecution or the defense?
Yeah, I think in a case like this, the extensive coverage really benefits the prosecution. And the reason for that is I think the first thing you have to look at is the source of the information coming to the public. And for the media outlets, a lot of that has come from the criminal complaint. That's a charging document drafted by the prosecution and outlines their theory of the case and what they expect the evidence to show. We really haven't heard much from the defense yet. We don't know what they expect the evidence to be. We don't know what their theories are yet. And I think in addition, when you have such publicity surrounding a case, you certainly have a community that is hurting. You have a community that wants accountability. And right now, Maxwell Anderson is the face of accountability.
Makes sense. questions that these jurors might face? What type of questions might they be facing to make sure that they can remain impartial in a trial like this?
Yeah, I think a lot of the questioning is going to focus on media coverage and what they've heard beforehand. You know, have you heard anything? What have you heard? Can you set that aside? I think you're also going to hear questions about domestic violence. If people have been a part of domestic violence, they know somebody that's had domestic violence, including, you know, homicide situations. Is anybody a father? I mean, you're going to hear questions about people's life experiences to make sure that they're still able to hold that presumption of innocence for Maxwell Anderson and ultimately hold the state to that very high burden of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt.
All right, and we do know now that the jury has been seated. We have 12 women, 3 men, variety of professions, nurse practitioner, social worker, auto repair shop worker, another nurse on there. How surprised are you that they were able to seat a jury today? Did you think that that would be possible, or it might take longer?
Yeah, I am surprised. This is a very hard process. I think the questionnaires that they set out and had beforehand, I think they had 75 jurors initially. I think that whittled it down to about 40 jurors, so those were obviously incredibly effective. Still, I think Judge Crivello, she's swift, she's accurate, she moves the case along. I got to give a lot of credit to the defense attorneys and the prosecutor. They obviously asked the right questions to make sure that there is a fair and impartial 12 jurors seated, 15 if you include the alternates.
Justin Padway, thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to continuing this chat and this dialogue throughout this trial.
Yeah, I appreciate you both having me. Thank you very much.
Thanks. And while all eyes are on the courtroom, many are using the start of Anderson's trial as a moment to honor the memory of Sade Robinson. This was the scene today at Pizza Shuttle, where the 19-year-old MATC student once worked. A mural and a growing number of flowers now surround the building's entrance, with people coming by today to pay their respects. That includes some who never met Sade, but have felt the impact of her tragic death.
Support Miss Robinson and her family because it's a tragic thing that happened. And it's something that I never wish to happen to anyone, because it can happen to anyone at any given time. I have 3 wonderful daughters, and I never wish this on no one.
Anderson's trial is expected to last 2 weeks. We will be streaming it live on our website and our social media pages from gavel to gavel. You can also follow our coverage for every development online at CBS58.com.